all of these can be customized to the nines depending on what you're doing. So I just want you guys to keep that in mind before going in and looking at them. I did not create any tags in there. I want you guys to be able to do that, customize it, make it your own. You guys have learned that in the last 2 days, exactly how to create the tags, the naming convention. Again, I suggest using that tag map for your naming convention. And every time you create a tag, create it in Infusionsoft and add it to your tag map so that you know what's talking to what and where it's at. So the three, just an overview, the three that we've pushed in are 1, drip membership access. Your drip membership access is for if you have content that you want to drip, basically give them on a specific date or after a certain amount of time, then you can release all of that by a specific tag in Infusionsoft. So what this campaign is going to do, we'll do a bigger deep dive into it, is it's going to push your members in and it's going to automatically give them access to course 1 or intro 1. Yes, sir.
Drip also, would it also be called drip if it's not just a time delivery like once a week, but it's a finish the previous course or lesson and move into the next lesson?
Nope, that's actually dynamically built into LearnDash. So LearnDash, you have the ability of making your lessons progressive. So they have to complete one before they go to another. And so then they can do it on their own time frame. Where this, they wouldn't do that. They would just go through on a certain, like on a certain date. For example, Kimberly's stuff comes out, all of her content comes out on the 1st of the month. So if they purchase on the 3rd of the month, we're going to let them know, hey, we know that you've purchased, you're not going to have access to course 1 until the 1st of next month. So here's some great content for you to get ready, and then we're going to give you access. All behind the scenes, it's sitting in Infusionsoft and it's saying, as soon as it's the 1st of the month, I'm ready to go. And it'll apply that tag first thing in the morning. They immediately get access, which sends them an email that says, hey, you now have access, jump in, dive in, see what you want to do.
Do you have a sense of what percentage of websites, membership sites would use a drip system rather than just giving them everything?
From my personal experience, majority of people just do progressive. There's not a ton that will do this. Coaching is a big one that's going to do a drip because it needs to follow along their timeline and make sure that they have the right access.
It has to do with what their payment process and payment plan is, because you don't want to deliver the whole thing to somebody that's paying over 12 months, for instance.
Not necessarily.
Remember
So-
we did talking about that too, and he said that that could be a mistake in terms of dripping, like it actually seems more like a scarcity type mindset.
Interesting.
Yeah,
You just put yourself at risk of having people take all your stuff and only pay for a few months.
exactly.
So, yeah.
Yep. That's definitely a risk in any of it. But, so the next one that we have is lead magnet to upsell, and it's just that. So what we're showing you guys is we're going to show you guys exactly how to offer someone a lead magnet that they can opt in from your website. They go from lead magnet, and then we're going to upsell them to a Tripwire, which is usually like a $7, $17 product, just something fairly cheap, less than $20 that they can get into. Then we're going to upsell them to the actual product that you primarily had in mind for them to purchase. And then last but not least, we're going to show you how to do a one-click upsell for them to purchase from an email. And then I've also put in the documentation from Imperium how to add a button to your website, and that particular button is going to allow you a one-click upsell within the system as well. So you're going to go upsell, Tripwire, product purchase, upsell purchase. All 4 of those will be in here, triggered by different pieces. And then the third one that we have is webinar registration to sell. This particular campaign is built around GoToWebinar, but you could use any webinar system that you want. Most of them integrate through Zapier. So it's really up to you guys, whichever one you use, but this particular campaign is built with GoToWebinar. So it's everything from registering for the webinar, making sure that whatever form you have them filling out talks directly to your webinar system, and then it sends out your confirmation, sends out your reminders, and then at the end of that webinar, they're also going to, the system is going to say, did they attend or did they not attend based on tags. It's going to send them follow-up saying, hey, thanks so much for joining me, or hey, we missed you, here's your next chance. And then you can also sell them into your particular product, which is going to pull them out of any reminders within that particular sequence. Yes?
Does this work with GoToWebinar directly? Because I've always used plus this. Does that?
Nope, you have to use something like Plus This, API Guys, Novak Solutions, Zapier also has one. I'm a big Zapier fan. They're pretty quick at getting back to you if their Zaps break. So yeah, I just like Zapier because I like to have everything in one system. But before that, we usually used API Guys. Perfect. Any questions? Are you guys ready to jump in? Yeah, questions or yeah, jump in?
Yeah, jump in.
Do we need our computers turned up?
You don't have to if you don't want, unless you want to customize as we go through, but this is something that you guys can do on your own. So the drip access is very simple. I've started it with a tag, put them into a sequence, which is where all of the magic is going to happen, and then I've also ended it with a membership cancel goal, so that if at any time they cancel, they're no longer going to receive additional access. We could take this one further, that if they cancel, you also take away like all their access tags and all of that, but just know that Membarium recognizes a cancel tag or a payf tag to make sure they don't get into any of your content. Whenever we go into the course access, this is where all the fun stuff is going to happen for you guys. So, because I know Kimberly's, I'm going to continue using hers as an example like I have for the last 3 days. So sorry if you're sick of that, Miss Kimberly. So just everything within Membarium is tag based. So your Infusionsoft is applying a tag, Membarium is connecting that to WordPress, and then or LearnDash if you have LearnDash, and LearnDash if you have it. And then it's saying, yes, this person can access it, or no, it can't, this person can't access it. So this particular one, I'm gonna apply their course 1 tag, and then I'm gonna immediately send them an email. Notice I apply the tag and then send the email so that they don't get the email and then somehow not have access to it. So I start, step 1, I apply the tag. Step 2, I send them an email, and it gives you a chance to touch that particular customer, show them a little bit of love through their email, and let them know, go in, log in now, do what you need to do within the course. If you have a bigger delay between course 1 and course 2, for example, a whole month before they have course 2 access, you could add additional emails and timers in here just to kind of touch on them however often you want to. My suggestion is at least once a week. You just send them a little something, even if it's a question. Hey, how's it going in there? What's your favorite part? And allow them to just reply to the email. You don't even have to worry about a form or anything. Then once you're ready, you're gonna go ahead and do that delay timer. Within your delay timers, you have all kinds of options. You can wait a certain amount of days, minutes, hours, weeks, months, but you're also gonna notice that there's a no delay section at the bottom. Once you do that, it's gonna change everything over here on the right side. So you can run on, and this is where it would come in handy, for example, for Kimberly, because she wants a specific day of the month. Now it's gonna say on the first day of any month, or you can even go drill down one step further and say only on January 1st, only on January 2nd. This also comes in handy if you ever eventually do a holiday campaign, because then you could select a specific day without selecting a year, and that can go to your people every single year.
Is this new, this capacity to do this? I don't
It's been about a year, I want to say, since they came out with it being able to drill down this far, maybe a little more.
helpful.
Do these times run off of Infusionsoft server time or your local time?
You can use a contact time zone right down here if you're actually collecting that data from your contacts. Otherwise, it's going to be based on whatever time zone you have set in the system. So you'll notice here that I have it set to Mountain Time because that's what we are in Idaho. So you would have that same thing, Salt Lake, and then Bill would have East Coast time. So it just depends on Central. Are you Central? That's all right. I want you to be East Coast today. Yeah. I want it to be a little later in the morning. Perfect. I'm coming with. So I'm just gonna leave it on any month. And then your next section over here is going to say at, between, or any time. On this particular thing, I want them to get that at a specific time. And so depending on what your clientele is like, that's when you want to send out that email or give them access. A lot of times when I give access, I'll give it early at like 5 o'clock in the morning, but you can always put another timer in before your email and not send the email until you know your people are opening it.
Is that an Invariant clock or a Infusionsoft?
Nope, this is all Infusionsoft. We're only in Infusionsoft right now. So you can go ahead and select that time. You can also do any time. So it's going to be more, whenever they dropped in, it's going to be more specific to that kind of time. So that can be just a really general time that's assigned to it.
Close to the time do you find Infusionsoft? I mean, usually it's pretty close to your time, right? And I know before the holidays, there were enormous delays, an hour to 24 hours.
There shouldn't be any delay. If you have a hold on your account where they're slowly dripping people out, is the only time you should see a 24-hour delay. I've seen like maybe 5 minutes, even on a really busy time. It really depends on how busy their servers are, but you shouldn't ever see more than a 1 or 2 minute delay on emails going out. Unless you have like 100,000 emails you're sending out, then you're always going to see a delay on the amount of time before those are delivered to the client. And then what we're going to do is all the way through, you're going to do the same exact thing. Apply a tag, send them an email. Wait until you're ready, apply a tag, send an email. And that's really all that it takes for drip access.
What are the subsequent tags for? What is the tag every time before you?
To give them access to course, the particular course. So like this is going to give them access. I would have named those, but you can't rename and apply remove tag. So this right here is giving them access to course 1. This right here is giving them access to course 2, etc., all the way down.
Like courses, do you mean lesson?
Nope, I mean course.
It could be less than.
Yeah, it could be a lesson as well if you only have one course and then you are pushing them in. So Kimberly, have you decided if you're going to do your monthly courses or your monthly access in course level or in lesson level? Are you going to have the course all together and then each of these as an individual lesson?
Each
month.
is going to be a course and the lessons will be below that. So
Okay.
it's going to be courses.
Perfect.
Could it be set up so that, say, in her case, someone becomes a member on the 7th of the month, that they get the first month's then, and then they wait until the 7th of the next month?
You could, yep. And all that you would do there is they would immediately get access and then right here you would say wait 1 month.
Oh, okay.
Wait 1 month on any day and then they would gain access every month thereafter. So it really all depends on what you're going to do with your delay timer. You also have the option within Infusionsoft to do a date timer. The reason that, especially if it's going to be evergreen style, that I stay away from that is if somebody comes into the campaign, they're going to skip everything that they've already gone past the date. So there are times that the date timer is really, really good, especially if you're doing something like a PLF launch, where it's only open at a certain time and then it closes, and then you're going to immediately give them access after that. But I, since them making all the changes to the delay timer, I almost always only use a delay timer. Yes?
So I just want to make sure I'm understanding. I think in my case where I was talking about our courses had previously been set up, I think with a date, an open date in the Learn Dash end for each lesson. And we talked about, I want to eliminate that, set this up, and then make every lesson accessible with a tag.
Yeah.
Is that right? Based on what we, okay.
Yep, that's exactly it. Any other questions on this one? We good? So I just want to reiterate the importance of making sure that you put an end goal on anything that if they're going to cancel and they're still receiving emails, that you put an end goal on so that they pull out of that sequence. If someone cancels or their payment fails, careful on the payment fail, and I'll tell you why in just a second. But if anybody cancels, you don't want them to keep getting emails, because then it's going to be like, hey, you have access to something you don't have access to. So that's the importance of pulling that out. The reason I say be careful on a payF tag is you can't put someone back into a sequence where they left off. So if you pull someone out because their payment failed, and then they give you a successful payment, you have to restart them completely over. You can't pick and choose where at inside that sequence they're added back to. So it becomes a whole, like, how do I do this now? How do I give them the access back? You can still give them the tags and everything, but you can't put them back into a subsequent sequence just like this one. Does that make sense?
If they're doing a course where they have a certain percentage completed, certain quizzes completed, if you pull them out, then they have to start over at scratch.
They would still have all the access in LearnDash. You just can't start them at a certain email sequence in the course, or a certain email within the course. So like we've had people before that we've had to purposely pull people out because we needed to make a change or an error happened within the campaign. And then we had to break it out, like every email and tag section became its own sequence so we could plug people in at different pieces. So that's why I say, like, if they're to the point of payF and you want to eventually get them to cancel, that's when you're going to pull them out. So it's just a kind of a catch-22, but just know that if you pull someone out, you can't put them back into a certain email. You can only push them to the beginning of the beginning of the sequence again.
So then to counteract that, let's just say, could I have 12 different campaigns that go out, and every January it's this one, every February it's this one, every
I wouldn't do campaigns. I would just do individual course access unless it is like January, February. If you know that they're going to go a true calendar year, then you could do it that way. But you could do like course 1 access right here and then duplicate this. I don't know how to right click and do course 2 or lesson 2 or topic 2 access all the way through and just do individual instead of in one long line. That's definitely, and if you know you're going to be dropping people into a certain course, like after the fact, that might be a better way to build the campaign to begin with. Perfect. Okay, next campaign we're going to go through is the lead magnet to upsell. So what I've done here is just put a line so that you can fill in the blank basically on what your lead magnet is. I am a huge advocate on being very specific, not only with your tag names, but whatever your goal and sequences names are within a campaign. And the reason that I do that is in the future, if you ever know that you want to reuse a specific form, but you have to update some of the information on there, it's going to be based on this name right here, that you can pull it over and copy it into another campaign. So what I've done here is I've just done a simple web form that's going to do a first name and an email address. The reason that I've done that is because then you can just embed it on your site. It's your look, your feel, everything directly from your site. They can opt in right there and continue navigating through your site. As soon as they do that lead magnet opt-in, I am huge on your very first email delivering whatever they requested and don't sell to them. You still can, it's personal preference. But when I opt into something, I don't want to know that you have 10 other things that you want me to buy from you. I just want you to give me what you told me you would give me. There's all kinds of different messaging and ways to put into that email to do like a silent sell. Talk about the product, talk about you, talk about what you do and what you offer without saying buy now. And then I follow that up with a sales email, however long, hours, days after. Just remember that you want to stay hot in their brain. So if they just opted in, don't be opposed to sending them an email 1 time a day for 3 days in a row. And then you're going to go into another email. And what I do a lot of times is say, hey, thanks again for downloading my lead magnet. What did you think? And that opens up a dialogue that makes them feel comfortable that they're working with you. And then you can drive them into, but guess what? I also have this. For only $7, you can get more value out of my ebook or whatever the tripwire is going to be. When I say lead magnet, tripwire, all of that, does that make sense to you guys? Does everybody follow that? Okay, good. So then what it's going to do is you'll notice everything in this is in the same sequence. So that just like we talked about yesterday, if they buy your tripwire, you don't have to send them another email saying, hey, buy my tripwire. This instead makes them think you have your stuff together. If you're going to send them an email that's like, hey, buy my tripwire, and then the next day you're going to and they buy it, and then the next day you send them another email that says, hey, buy my tripwire, they're going to be like, what? But I already did. Why are you trying to resell me something you already sold me? With Infusionsoft, that's going to automatically pull them out as soon as they purchase that, and it's going to allow you to immediately deliver again, depending on what your tripwire is. You can immediately deliver it and start this whole process over. Here's the product that you purchase on a silver platter. I'm not going to sell to you. The very next day, how do you like it? I hope you had a chance to jump in and see what it was. And also, this product is going to benefit you. A lot of times that's when your coaching program is going to come in, or whatever the case may be. If you have a mastermind or you have a bigger book to sell them or whatever you're going to sell them, this is the spot to do that. And then your next one, this follows the same exact theory I just said. You're going to sell them and send them an email. And if they purchase, you want to pull them out again so that you're not trying to resell them something and they've already purchased.
And that's through a tag system?
Nope, that's through just purchasing. All purchase goals is how I have this set up.
Which automatically kicks them out of the sequence, in terms of
Yep.
that part of the sequence.
Yep, so the way that I explain it, and it goes back to racing terminology again, Jen is a straight track girl, I'm a circle track girl, but still race cars. So how I explain it is this is your starting line, what you see at the beginning, and this is where your races ran, and this is your finish line. So you're starting your race, you're pushing them in, you're giving them the content that they've asked for or that you want to deliver to them. And as soon as they buy, that means they've crossed that finish line. They've gotten that checkered flag and now they're being pulled out. And what's nice about these is now they just got a green flag and a checkered flag, which acted also as race 2 of the day. So this is a checkered flag and a green flag into your next section. And these are individual races.
And remember also, like, we have, I think Kylie put in 3 or 4 emails in each of those sequences, something like that.
3.
3. Those, you can build those out, because if you want to keep dripping on people for, you know, up to a month, 2 months, something like that, you can do that. You can build in specific drips right into there. And then as soon as they buy, they just get pulled up.
Yeah.
So, I'm just thinking, so all of my agony about payment gateway to allow a one-click upsell, you guys don't even recommend the immediate one-click upsell.
I'm in the one-click. That's our very next section is one-click upsell. Right here.
But not immediately after the purchase, so.
You can. Yeah, this is just how I have it set up so that you can see it on a purchase goal versus a one-click upsell goal.
Well, no, I'm talking about when you're saying, you know, you don't like to have somebody immediately sell you, which I agree too. I mean, one of the things I struggle with is, you know, following the internet marketing model is so salesy, often sleazy salesy to me, and it's so not our style. And it's part of the reason that we didn't launch into this, because we're like, you know, my husband was like not comfortable for him to push a sale.
Yeah, for sure.
So I like but I got sucked in, we're like, okay, well, everybody else is successful, so let's do these things and be salesy and blah, blah, blah. So we created that, you know, immediate video sequence of, oh, thanks for buying, you know, or thanks for signing up for our freebie, let me sell you this $7 item. Oh, thanks for buying in, let me upsell you this. We created all of that. We've never launched it. We're incredibly comfortable with it, but what I hear you saying is, you also agree, it's often better not to do that in terms of just.
Jen, would you consider that best practice or personal preference? I almost say personal preference because of the direction everybody goes today, because of following digital marketer or ClickFunnels or whatever the case may be, because you have their attention, so why not give them something else? When it comes to, like, for example, ClickFunnels, I'm not opposed to that because they're already in your site and going through. But when it comes to, I've already asked you for something, I, personal preference, am like, just give me what I ask for and then follow up with me after that. But Jen might have.
Because like as a marketing consumer, I get what they're doing. I'm like, sure, they're just trying to sell. Fine. It doesn't offend me, but my audience isn't that.
Well, and I want to make friends out of my, because that's what's going to make a long-time customer.
Right, so the difference is, when you do the one-click upsell, this is when you're saving their credit card so they can still buy it with just one click as opposed to, but it's not.
And I'm going to go into that in just a second, so hold that thought. But what are your thoughts on that, Jen?
I was just thinking about a conversation a couple of days ago about Brunson, and I think that's the biggest heartburn I have with him is that you buy anything and it's, hey, you're dumb enough to buy this, how about this? How about this? How about this? And about the 12th upsell, you go, please stop.
I hear that, but I also see how insanely successful he is and the people that follow him are.
And here's
So
the
that's
thing
where the
with
catch is.
The sales message, this is something that, I don't even remember where I heard it, but it does kind of shift your perspective a little bit. At least for me it did. Is that, one, if you're always delivering value and people know that you're always going to be delivering value to them without them having to buy anything. Like, you're still gonna give them little tips, you're still gonna give them little freebies, like, when you turn around and make a sales offer, it's actually like they're actually inviting it because if they know that you're giving them good information and they can expect to receive really good value from you, it's you're almost doing them a disservice if you don't offer other things that can help them. And so it becomes kind of that balance of weaving in the value with the sales message. I mean, if you just hit them over the head with sell, they're gonna opt out for sure. Yes. So you're always giving
Mhm.
that way. Yeah.
Well, that's true. Even, just very quickly, my story I told you yesterday is enlightening because we accidentally launched a campaign that had been built for Valentine's Day, for a Valentine's Day webinar and ebook for Valentine's Day photo tips in September. And people opted in, even though the dates were askew, they were for next February, they weren't even real, they were from the previous year, a campaign we built and never launched. But we had built in this upsell, we'd never used it before, and we had success. So even people in our audience who loved Nick saw this stupid email in September with a winter scene and Valentine's Day. So obviously it was totally dumb and bogus, and we were unprofessional on all of that. And they still, the very first time we launched it, they bought the tripwire and the upsell. So I guess it didn't.
But in just what you said, you felt it was dumb.
Yeah.
They felt it was genius and they bought from you.
Well prepared.
They did. They're like, these people are on top of it.
They didn't catch it was September of 17 and it was, come to our Valentine's webinar in February of 17. But they just bought, so that was our wonderful experience with it. But I guess
Yep.
it's all about tone and how you handle it.
Yeah,
Because,
exactly.
But it's still very hard for a non-salesy person to do it. It's cringe, but we gotta make money. We gotta feed our kids.
Yeah.
You do.
Yep, exactly. Any other questions on that part of it? Because we're going to jump into something that's a little bit more advanced, but I think you guys are totally going to get it. Okay, perfect. So we've gone through this whole thing. We've given them their tripwire, we've given them their product, and now we want to upsell them. So we're going to give them an add-on of some kind into the membership site. For example, just because this is a membership workshop. That's what the example I'm going to use. I know because they've already purchased my product that I have their card information on file. Please keep in mind this can only be done if you're using a true merchant account within Infusionsoft. It cannot be done if you're using PayPal. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to give them emails and I'm going to say, but for only $100 more, the whole salesy, but wait, there's more. Click this button. I'm going to automatically take the money out of your account and deliver this to you. And that's what we can do in these emails. So in this first email right here, I'm going to give them that one-click upsell that says buy now. This, again, is personal preference. If I'm going to automatically charge them, I want to be more than clear what I'm going to automatically charge them so that I don't have people that are mad at me. So this is just telling them by clicking the above buy now button, your account on file will automatically be charged X amount of dollars. How are we doing that in Infusionsoft though? Because you can't do a true one-click upsell within Infusionsoft. All through an action set. So they click on this button, which directs them to a thank you page, which applies a tag to their contact record within Infusionsoft. As soon as that tag is applied, it triggers a sequence that allows them to sell, or for us to set up a subscription or a one-time payment of an order within the system. That makes sense, or did I lose anybody?
Say it quickly again, please.
Perfect. No, you're fine. So as soon as they click this button, any button has to go somewhere or else they can't click on it. So I've assigned a random URL. I just used our website, thank you, that I don't even know if that's a real page, but it has to have a URL for it to direct them to. As soon as they click that button, it directs them to the URL, but at the same exact time, internally in Infusionsoft, it's applying a tag. So this tag that it just applied to them is XYZ one-click upsell. As soon as that tag is applied, now within the campaign itself, did I not put it in there? Well, once that tag is applied,
We need to add tags, is that what you're saying?
yes,
Did you say the tag is applied automatically
yes,
in this case?
yep, and this is where that's done. So what I did is I took a button right here out of the widget section and I pulled it over into my email. I styled my button the way that I wanted it with the particular green, because green is purchase. I assigned a URL to it and I applied a tag right here. So all of that is going to automatically happen within Infusionsoft. Now what I'm going to do is within, oh, it's right here. So ignore what I just told you guys. No, you don't have to add a tag. I did. It's early, forgive me. So as soon as they click on that, yes, please. So once they click on that, it's going to automatically apply their tag. So again, we're doing the same thing as we just did here. We're not going to continue to try to get them to click that button and buy from us. Instead, it's going to automatically pull them out because that's a tag goal. It just pulled them out so we don't try to sell them again, and it automatically pushes them into this end sequence. Here's your one-click upsell. So in the action sets yesterday, all that we did for payF, or payment fail yesterday, was we just applied a tag so that it would trigger a campaign and get everything going. What we're going to do on this action set is we're going to create the same exact thing, but in the drop-down menu at the bottom, it's going to say create an order instead of apply a tag. That create an order, we're going to be able to set it up, select the specific product that they're purchasing, everything, and that's going to allow that to go through. One thing that you'll want to keep an eye on. Infusionsoft cannot dynamically tell you that payment didn't go through. So they are still going to get some kind of delivery email when you do it this way. So it is a catch-22. Is there a way to avoid it? Yes. What you can do is if that payment fails, you could set it up that if a payment fails on that particular product, apply a tag. So then you would send them through a decision diamond that says if they have this tag, success, or if they don't have this fail tag, then send them whatever they just one-click upsold. If they do have the fail tag, send them something that says, it looks like your payment didn't go through, click here to try again. Or reply to this email, let us know that you want it. We'll reach out to you and make sure that we have that. If you have a customer service team or you're not opposed to them calling you, you can always include a number. We don't include a number on our stuff. That's just our personal preference. But everybody's different.
So for example, in this one, in the upsell delivery, let's say what they're purchasing is time with me. So in there, I can just put the link for them to schedule time in that email on my Acuity and just say,
Yep, exactly. So what I would do there is instead of that thank you page, I would have a schedule page, like a thank you schedule page that says, hey, you're in, as soon as they go there, because then they're going to be charged at the same time they're scheduling with you. Just know for yourself to either set up an email or double check their account before you hold that call,
Right.
so that you know that you've received the money.
Would you send them to do the scheduling out to Calendly or something like that, or would you do that within Infusionsoft?
No, I never schedule within, you can't have them schedule within Infusionsoft. You can if you were to like, I want your next Monday at 7 o'clock, or just like a click, but you can't have an actual scheduling process. The one that we use is Appointment Core, because it dynamically syncs. But there's so many, Calendly, Acuity, all of those just hook in through Zapier. So it's the same exact thing. And then you could even take that one step further. And if they purchase it, you could end that with a tag goal that says they scheduled. And so then you can keep reminding them, hey, you purchased, but it looks like you didn't actually schedule, so that you're not chasing them down. And then that could pull them out of it. Any questions or ideas on a different way that this could work?
Yeah, I have a question that's just a tad bit beyond or not related to this, but maybe you can answer it now or later. How do you integrate Zapier? You just go to Infusionsoft for their list of integrations and click on that and go that route? I mean, is there a simple way to get Zapier?
Zapier is all set up through Zapier. So when you go into Zapier itself, it's going to allow you to connect whatever you want. Zapier does have a free option, but Infusionsoft isn't covered under that because they're a premium one. So what you do is you go into Zapier and you create your first Zap, and you're going to say like, I want to do something within Infusionsoft. You choose that as one of your integrations, and then it's going to bring you to a screen that's like, hey, Infusionsoft isn't set up yet. Put in your Infusionsoft ID, which are these 5 digits here, and your API key.
Which you get from?
Infusionsoft symbol, admin, settings, application. But within Zapier, it gives you a link. I don't know how to find my API key. Click here to find out how to do it. And then if you do that one time, then it's connected forever. And you can set up all the Zaps that you want.
So then if you, just for, I don't usually, just Calendly for instance. Then does it automatically connect Calendly then to Infusionsoft?
It does. So what that is it's a connection. It's an integration connector. So it's going to say, anytime someone schedules through Calendly on your particular link, it's going to automatically fire. It does something magical in the background, comes into Zapier, runs it to Infusionsoft.
Connect Calendly to Zapier.
Same way that I just walked through with Infusionsoft, through Zapier.
Okay.
Nope, all of it is done in Zapier.
Infusionsoft through Zapier, you go to the app, or like Calendly through Zapier. You do something in Zapier.
You will do it all in Zapier. You don't even have to go to, well, obviously you have to set up like whatever you're going to schedule
And
them,
it's seamless
but-
after that.
completely,
Just as good as a native integration like Appointment Core?
very much so. And Zapier, what's really nice about Zapier is like endless ability to connect to things. Right now, for example, ClickFunnels and Infusionsoft are having a hard time talking to each other and they're not getting along. So I'm using Zapier to do it instead of their native integration.
Okay, because the one thing I don't like about Appointment Core is you have to collect their credit card information before they schedule the appointment. And sometimes if you're 3 months out or something, people may go, forget that, I want my money back.
You don't have to collect their credit card if you're charging for it, you do it.
He is charging for one of them.
Well, yeah, I mean, if you collect payment.
He has,
Say, before they go to the scheduler to actually book the time.
they have Acuity, which allows them to book and pay before it's official, before it's confirmed.
You book your
And
time,
Appointment Core is
and they
backwards.
send you the payment portal before it's confirmed. It's just a little softer process.
You're Acuity, right?
She's Acuity, I'm Appointment Core, but I don't like that feature of Appointment.
Right. Yeah, Acuity is where they're doing theirs.
Taking their money before they can see when they can see you is a little not user kind.
You do.
Especially for, spiritual and healing work, it's like totally different. My calendars get
Yeah.
booked up, I could be 2-3 months out, easy. There's only so many of those sessions I can do a day.
Yeah, it's definitely personal preference on that.
Okay, cool. Sorry for taking the time on that, but thank you.
No, you're totally fine.
Kyla, would you be able to help us either now or at some point to add
I can include that in the training after this, and then I'll email those out to you guys just to show you some alternative options with that. Yeah, no, you're totally fine. You're welcome. Okay, we only have 10 more minutes to get through this next one, but it'll be simple enough to get through.
We actually have 40 minutes before the official starts.
Oh, I thought it was 8. Perfect. Well, then I have all the time in the world to chit chat to you guys. I'm a talker, if you can't tell. First day I couldn't talk at all in front of everybody, and now all of a sudden I can't stop.
So we're going to webinar now?
So now we are going to be in the webinar campaign. Hopefully everybody has it. If for some reason you guys don't have it, I pushed them in last night, late last night, so just let me know.
Is it webinar registration still?
So what we're doing right now is we're trying, Infusionsoft doesn't have a way to just automatically set up a webinar. So we can do a few different things. Some people still use GoToWebinar. Some people use Zoom. Us. So there's this particular campaign is set up to use GoToWebinar. It connects the two, talks back and forth, all of that. If you're using something like Zoom, it just completely simplified this entire process that I put together for you. Because it can be as simple as fill out this form to opt in, send them the confirmation in their calendar or in their email, send them their reminders up until the webinar, Zoom call, and go from there. However, GoToWebinar, you have to sync the two. So it's a little bit more detailed. Is anybody using GoToWebinar, or does everybody use Zoom?
We are, but what are how does Zoom, why would I want to stay with GoToWebinar rather than switch to Zoom in terms of?
You wouldn't. No, I'm just kidding.
There's 2 things on Zoom, though. There's Zoom meetings, which are one thing up to 250 people, and then there's Zoom webinars.
Webinars.
Which is a totally different
How many
deal.
do they allow?
On webinars is unlimited.
No, it goes up to 100, and then you have to purchase, like you purchase different plans.
But if you have like 1,000 people on a webinar, can Zoom, can I?
On Zoom, yeah, you can. You just have to purchase.
That seems like a space that's changing really,
Instead of the
really
free.
fast.
It is. So the benefits that we like in Zoom is everybody can share their camera. So if you have a big group, everybody can see like you're legit, you have a big group. Where GoToWebinar sometimes feels fake anymore because they can't tell if people are really on with them or not. Not that that's a bad thing, but you can.
Everybody can share their camera. The presenters, multiple presenters, or what do you mean?
No, everyone. So all attendees, presenters, everybody can be seen on their webcam if you choose that. You can also just turn off that feature.
Choose to see everybody that's in the room on a portion of your screen, or just the person talking.
If you have 1,000 people on a webinar, how can you?
They're tiny, they get tinier, little.
Yeah, they just get smaller and smaller. Once you're at 1,000, do you truly have 1,000 on all of your webinars? Or what is a,
No, not on all of them.
okay, what is a standard webinar for you guys? How many people?
Standard, we've been failing miserably, but at our peak, we were having like 700 people.
Okay. So see something like that, you would have to have Zoom webinar, not Zoom meeting. And that's when you can break it down even further as far as are their cameras going to be on? Are you going to allow anybody to talk? Are you going to turn off the volume? All of that. Zoom meetings is more what we host. We do smaller groups. And
Does Zoom have the delay? That was one of the reasons.
there is no delay with Zoom.
All right, so I need to look at Zoom.
None at all. Zoom is a cheaper price point as far as regular Zoom, Zoom meetings. It's about the same depending on how many attendees you're going to have on Zoom webinar. We have not found a way to not use just Zoom meetings. You can record your screen. You can, everything is pretty much
I do my session
still available.
too, even if we end up turning our cameras off, that way it's recorded and send it to them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and a lot of times if somebody meets with me at all, like for example, when I met with all of you guys over the phone, except for one person, not looking at anybody specifically.
Your eyes in any direction
I'm not.
specifically, are you?
All of your calls were recorded. Those were all Zoom calls. They were all recorded whether you had your camera on or not. So,
And you can even do your own, like, create the webinars on Zoom by having yourself logged in two different computers. So that it has one person who's attending and then yourself. You can be talking to yourself
yeah,
and then recording that and then uploading that into your program.
yeah,
As a course.
for sure. We actually have a client that does almost all of his content that way. He presents it to us, we're recording as he's doing it, and then we put it on his site. So again, back to this example with GoToWebinar, we have two different ways for them to opt in. If they're not already in our system, then they're going to have to fill out a form. You always have to have a first name and an email address in order for the registration to go through in GoToWebinar. At one point, it was first name and last name. I believe they've updated that. However,
The webinar does not require last name now?
I don't know the answer to that.
Yeah, we do it, and they just put in like something random. That was a problem when we first started doing this.
Yeah, I had heard that they updated it, but I haven't done any integration since that, so I have no idea. So what we're doing in this bottom section is we're going to send an email to everybody that's on our list. So we already have their name and we already have their email. And we're going to give them the option to register simply by clicking one button. And that's going to automatically register them. It's going to apply a tag. It's going to send them into our registration, and they're going to receive the confirmations and reminders. You will see that I have a couple of suggestions down here under that webinar registration confirmation and reminder section. Number one being, if you use GoToWebinar, I suggest that you use the GoToWebinar confirmation so that they can add it to their calendar just on a simple click of a button. All the reminders, you're totally fine, but Infusionsoft does not yet dynamically have the click here to add it to your iOS calendar, click here to add it to your Google calendar, click here to add it to whichever calendar you're using.
We link through plus this, which gives that capability.
Yep. As long as you have something like that, then you can go ahead and use just your reminders within Infusionsoft. The second one is, I actually removed something out of here and I wanted to remind myself to talk to you guys about it. We always finalize with a timer because GoToWebinar, as I'm using as an example in here, they do have a delay on reporting back to any system. It doesn't matter what system it is on whether someone attended or did not attend. They know immediately, but they do wait until the end of your webinar to report back and have that information in. So a lot of times what I will do is I will set, if you're using Zapier, it's an hour delay after your webinar is complete. So just to be safe, a lot of times what I'll do is I'll wait an hour and a half after I think I'm going to be done with my webinar before I allow the system to recognize if they've attended or not attended. Does that make sense? So, and you're going to have that with every system. When we used API, guys, the delay was almost 2 hours. Zapier, the delay is about an hour. It's all in how GoToWebinar reports. However, if you're using Zoom, there is not an integration yet that says who attended and who did not attend. Okay, Jen is correcting me. Who do they use for that?
I believe Plus This just came out with one, and I think Notion
On meetings or on webinar?
on the webinar.
Okay, so meetings side of Zoom, you can't keep track of that.
Plus this and the other one was the.
Oh, right, yeah, sorry, meetings, yeah, the webinar side works, meetings is not.
Okay. So then that just comes into maybe you create a form and says and put in these people attended, these people didn't attend. So then your messaging is obviously going to be different. If they attend or if they don't attend, you don't want to send them just a blanket email. Hey, thanks for attending my webinar. Because then they're all of a sudden going to come back to you and be like, I wasn't there. What are you talking about? The people that don't have enough to do in their life are going to come back and say that to you. And so in your attended, you're going to thank them. You're going to give them whatever you promised them during the webinar. And then at any given time, you can upsell after that webinar. Because more than likely what you've done is you've already tried to upsell them on the webinar. So you're just going to reiterate what your offer was in your email. No show, that's up to you. Do you want to push them to another webinar? Do they have to see what you're presenting to them before they buy? Or can they just buy no matter what? Are you just trying to drive the sell? And again, we end it with an end goal of a particular purchase goal so that you're not continuing trying to sell them something that they've already bought from you. Any questions?
Yeah, two. One is in the top one, if they attend and they purchase, don't you need another decision diamond, so you're not trying to sell them again?
No, because we're going to offer them the same exact product no matter if they attended or they didn't attend.
But I'm saying if they purchase on the webinar, you don't want to be trying to sell them in the follow-up sequence.
Oh yeah, you could totally do that. Yeah, because that won't automatically pull them out. Well, it would. This would already pull them out. But then they wouldn't get that thank you email saying, hey, thanks for attending. But you could put that directly into the thank you purchase email.
And then the other thing is, when you say finalizing the timer, where is that?
Right here in this particular sequence, so directly above it. So here's their webinar confirmations and everything. You would put in one final timer.
And what is that, when is the timer? Oh, just to before they go into the next thing. And you're saying make that 90 minutes.
Yep, best practice would be 90 minutes.
Put that in right now, 90 minutes.
Yeah, for sure. Just know that you can't put a field timer in a delay timer sentence, so you'd have to do that below. If I were you, I would do just a whole new sequence if that's what you want to do. So you would remove these by just highlighting them and deleting them. We would move this over just a touch. Bring over a new sequence. So as soon as they're done with all the reminders and confirmations, you could even put like hold sequence.
Is this what you would do? Is this what you would
This is exactly what I would do. Hold sequence after webinar. Go ahead and go in there and select your delay timer. And that's where you would put your 90 minutes. And I'm a huge fan in any day, anytime, so that it's not going to hold up whatever I do within that campaign.
I always have trouble when I select everything, moving everything at once. Is there a trick to that, or am I just?
I don't know the answer to that on a Mac. You should just be able to highlight them and then just move them anywhere. It's just a one click is all that I just did. Now I just completely messed up my campaign. Jen knows that my OCD just freaked out.
So inside that sequence, all you put was the delay timer.
Yep.
90 minutes.
Yep, that's all that I did.
Thank you.
You're welcome. And then just also know, especially with you talking about a decision diamond, you'll notice that from a sequence to goals, there's not a decision diamond. So if you ever want a decision diamond between those, you can link it to two sequences and then push it through. I could put that in training too.
Please do, I think I'm not sure I follow that.
Jeff, questions? Coffee? Kimberly?
I'm good.
So now we have Q&A time to go over any of these three or additional questions that you have for us before everybody comes in. James? Julie? Questions?
I have a question. It's not related to this.
That's okay.
Okay, so my question is, on my website, I want your expertise. I have several buttons from the homepage on through for become a member of the membership.
Perfect.
Become a member.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm wanting to gauge your guys' opinion on whether, because I want to, my site and my membership is very relational, empowered. It's very focused on relationships. So become a member versus join our community. I'm just curious what
Ooh.
you all might.
Do they truly have access to a community on the back end? Community to me says that they have access to a bunch of people, a bunch of like-minded people.
Yeah, well, they.
So are they
that
just
is the
joining your
vision,
membership site, or are you going to have
No,
like a Facebook
We're
page
gonna
that
have
everybody
a
can meet with?
couple live sessions per month, on one level, a couple live sessions and a mastermind on another level, which are all live Zoom calls.
Mm-hmm.
And we're gonna have a private Facebook group, which will be community.
Okay.
Now, it's starting as a community of one, but it's gonna, or two. but
Right.
It's going to grow, right? Yeah, and I'm gonna give at least a dozen free memberships into the community in exchange for their input over the first year or whatever.
Input and testimonials. Make
Input
sure
and
they give you testimonials.
and attendance.
Mm-hmm.
So there'll be something on their end that's required to be grandfathered into this.
Mhm.
So that's my question. Become a member is understood, it's a membership, yeah. To
Mhm.
me, it's like join our community. Is kind of what you, I mean.
As long as they're
recovery
starting
is really
out
about
with the community, then I think you're okay.
Yeah, so a dozen people is a community, and then
Yeah.
it grows from there.
Just keep in mind, especially with your avatar, the group of people that you're trying to bring in, that a lot of them are going to want that security of my name's not going to get out.
Right, yeah. Yeah.
So-
That's why the thing on Zoom is so cool and.
Yeah, so you could play back and forth with that and just kind of see. If you get feedback that they're like, I don't want everyone to know me, then that's when you would change it.
Correct.
But the way that you're starting, my suggestion would be join our community, because that's where your heart is. That's what you're wanting to
Anybody, thank you.
present.
Thank you. Anybody else have a thought or
My
suggestion?
only thought is, on the other hand, is that sometimes if you say join our community, that doesn't imply a paid thing.
Right,
You
that's
know,
what I was gonna say.
Okay.
So like, we always refer to our community as our Facebook.
The free stuff.
Because that's everybody.
Right.
Oh.
Yeah, join your community, you charge me this month?
Yeah, that's it, right,
Wow.
whereas people would expect to pay for it.
If you're a member, yeah, you pay for a membership.
Join
And
our-
that's just my gut, that was just my gut response.
Join our membership community?
There you go.
Yeah.
Join our membership and have access to our community, you know. and
Yeah,
be
with
part of our
access.
community, just be,
Once you join our membership, we welcome you to the community.
What was that, Jeff?
Do you know what an A/B test is, James?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, I would just test it. We actually struggled with that, and we used probably 10 different things and tested them, and honestly, it didn't make a whole lot of difference.
Yeah.
And what made a bigger difference was the size of the button and the color of the button and
Mm-hmm.
other stuff that you wouldn't think would make a difference.
Yeah. I like, thank you for that. That's very true. I like the kind of the hybrid of join our membership community, because it kind of says both. I mean, membership, you're gonna pay, and I had that same concern that you expressed, thank you, Ed. So, yeah, okay.
I like the, to me, the power of Infusionsoft is you can make it more personalized. So if there's a way to create those one-off automated emails to invite them.
Totally.
And so I also like the, I versus us. And it could be like you reaching out to them, that looks like a one-off, and then if your picture could be on there.
Yeah.
I think that's more of a personal invitation.
Awesome, thanks.
I don't know if they're going to ask to see anything else.
Input.
Perfect. Jen, what are your thoughts on that?
Was that on I missed the first part of it, were you talking about the button on your sales page, is that?
I'm talking about the button on my website,
Yeah.
and I have it
The
on
call to
my
actions
homepage,
all
and I have it on
directing to the
membership
sales page.
and I have it on a lot of pages, so.
Okay.
Member to me sounds just almost so generic now.
Since it's such an important thing, why don't you have your button, whatever it is, and then in some small text below it, explain what you mean by community in some warm, fuzzy way, so people can say, yeah, this is what I'm looking for.
Yeah, and I do have a membership page specific for that, and there is some other content up here around that, so that's important, yeah.
One thing I would, when you're designing your sales page, you're going to want multiple calls to action through the page. Oh, I have actually seen that. Yeah. So, but you can change up what the language is on those different buttons. So I think just like Anne was talking about before, right? It's like this, but they all go to the same thing. So it's different language, because different language can appeal to different people. So joining a community may seem like work to some people, or like they're going to be forced to share something that they don't want to share with other people. So something,
Almost, you know.
right. So that while that may appeal to some people, another like start your journey now, you know, and
We're using a lot of try.
yeah, get started. Yeah, there's, I mean, all sorts, different languages. Yeah, and maybe I would try something along the lines of like join, and something along the lines of like get started, or engage. You know, try different verbs and stuff in there and see.
So I hear you saying that even on like on our website, if I have this in 3 or 4 places on the website, there's like 8 different main pages with sub-pages. It could become or join our membership community in one spot, and something else slightly on a different spot, maybe the same color, but the sign a different.
Same color, yes.
to have
Different
that
words.
continuity, different wording. Cool.
Yep.
Yeah, I like that.
Yep.
Thank you.
Because that'll, different things will catch different people's attention, like whatever appeals to them.
And a long sales page for our $2,000 workshops. The first one is like, you know, you present at the top and the button just says, yes, I'm in, or count me in, or something like that. And then later on, it's like, yes, I want the free add-on day to the blah, blah, blah. And then later it says, register now, you know, so that you catch people at whatever their style is.
Yep.
Mhm.
Yeah. Cool.
Yeah.
That's really helpful, thank you.
Yes,
Yeah.
Kimberly.
I have a question. I want to go back to the thing I asked previously with you with the membership access campaign, where my lines are different than what's in the book.
We need to look at that.
Okay, so just do that individually?
Mhm.
All right.
Anybody else? We can brainstorm, we can Q&A all you want. Or we could take a break until everybody comes in at 8:30.
What would you say, do you think of any do's or don'ts for memberships, or are we gonna talk about all that with the whole group?
We are going to go through those, yeah, with the whole group, for sure.
Okay,
I did my homework
Okay,
last
ready.
night.
do you want
Show me what you have.
to do what you had to do with my computer to get those on, so we don't forget, or were you?
No, I'm going to do them from the back as Jen's talking this morning.
So here's what it looks like here.
All
And
right.
That's what it looks like on my.
Just drag that over to the
So I
left.
love the ideas
Yeah.
of like the same link, but it's different language.
There you go.
Because of the different types of personality.
I don't know why it did that.
All right.
What do you think after, so say I just had a session
You're
with somebody and
welcome.
I'm following up with the email,
Gee, thanks.
would it, especially in my line of work, it's so touchy, because most of my colleagues, we don't sell, we present what we offer, like I could show you what I could do for you, but it's up to you for it to resonate, for you to feel led to work with me, right? So it's not very salesy at all, so I have to be very careful, because I always look to think, one, you know, how my other people who are doing my level of work, how they present themselves, it's very different than salesy. So, but say we just worked together, we had a great session, and now, you know, and I like to wrap, it's a very meditative state, so I want to leave you in that bliss. I don't want to talk to you like a teacher or, you know, trying to sell you my next thing. But then, you know, I send you an email, is that the appropriate time to kind of, you know, show you my other options, my other packages, or do you wait a couple of days and then email them your packages? What do you take, what do you feel on that?
So you're not selling in person on your in-person sessions, right?
Right.
Okay.
It's very much.
And they buy like session to session, or they experience one and then they want to buy a package?
Right.
Is that right?
Right.
You know, for that, especially with the touchy-feely, and I bet Carrie Lynn will weigh in on this today as well when she's talking about kind of how to position your sales copy. But I would also think that, you know, right afterwards, you're just going to probably kind of want to have them, help them put words to the feelings that they're having right afterwards. So for like the immediate follow-up, right? I'm so glad that we met today. It was a joy working with you. You take note of the things that you're feeling. Write them down. You should be feeling some, whatever like that is, and connect it with that, and have them actually like write that kind of thing down. And then go back a couple of days later and say, it's been a few days. Are you still feeling this way? Yeah. So it's reconnecting them back to that feeling, because for you, well, for everybody, it's about the destination, not the journey. And so you always want them to be thinking about that feeling, like that amazing experience, the amazing outcome, not that. So anything that you can do to reconnect them back to that piece. And a lot of times we did that with a supplement company we were working with before, and it worked really pretty well. But it was a reminder, of, hey, other people who have done this experienced these kinds of things, and they found, or I found it was really, really helpful if I journaled and wrote down like the amazing growth and the amazing things that, or the aha moments and stuff. And then you're forcing them to take more recognition of
How beneficial the
the
product
benefits.
was.
Yeah, exactly. And then it's easier to then reference that back, because you're making them like more consciously aware of what's happening.
Right, and so I have a post session video that goes out, because I didn't want to go in teacher mode, that there is a process to integrating the energy, right? So you can have all your stuff come up the next couple of days, you can be blissed out right now, and then tomorrow you're going to be angry, you want to cry, you want to scream, all these different things. So I teach them how to cope with that, and so they can integrate it well. So maybe in that I can kind of say something. I'm just here to be of service. I know how many sessions somebody needs, but I'm not going to tell them, I definitely think you'd benefit 5 or 6. I can feel that. I know that intuitively. But, who am I to say that to them in that moment? They have to want to reach out again.
It could even turn into like a how can I help you? Click below
Yeah.
to schedule a 10-minute call with me, and then that becomes
Yeah, and you
yourself.
just said, who am I to offer? You are exactly the person to offer them.
Like do so much for free, so then sometimes we'll talk and say, oh my gosh, I'm not like trying to be salesy. I'm showing you what I could do for you, because it comes so natural to me. But I know I'm in this growth spurt where I'm learning. It's even in my astrological chart right now. I have like this 3-year learning thing, like in 5 different spots in my chart. I thought, okay, I'm just going to keep stepping forward. I'm going to learn from the way I present myself. I'm going to learn from the way I communicate with my clients. I just have to just be me. I'm just, so it's like I'm working on learning how to handle this whole part, because I often know what people need, because I'm getting it from your higher self. So.
Well, now let me ask. So think of an example of somebody that you specifically thought, oh, I know that you would benefit from 5 or 6 sessions out of this, right? And then and that person that actually took those sessions. Do you have at least one of those people?
Yeah.
Okay. At the end of those sessions, were they happy that they took the sessions? Or were they angry that you had said, please don't sell me this?
No, they're being changed for life.
And that's what you're doing this for, right?
I mean, they are like literally, this is like a soul reboot, I swear. I am just the conduit. I am like humbled beyond belief to the point of tears from them.
And that's why you're doing this, right? That's why you guys are doing this also.
We're in a similar situation.
Yeah.
The way I look at it is, the people who are selling things that enhance someone's
I need to see if this thing's
finances
cooking. I
or
smell something
business,
hot.
it's very easy to sell.
Yeah.
Then you want to be salesy.
Yep, it is.
Because people want that, if you make extra $100 in business or in your stock, whatever. But when you're offering services that offer your life greater satisfaction, it's hard to sell. So we're a little bit the same thing. One way we've tried to do it, to not feel salesy, is to say, blah, 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 where are you in your journey? What would make you happy in your family photos, blah, blah, blah. Here's 3 ways I can help you. And then you offer a free option, camera, it's a reasonably small charge. You wanna go in for the deep dive and become a professional photographer, then pay an extra bucks. But
And
we're not-
and I would actually challenge that. I would challenge that
Don't-
because
Everything I said. Wipe it out of your head. Bad idea.
it's not a bad idea. It's the right idea, but a confused mind doesn't make a choice.
Right.
So when you're offering them, here's how I can help, you offer them one thing.
Yeah.
Okay.
You could say, for you, in what you were just talking about, you're talking to somebody, they've already given you permission to read that at some level.
Right.
Right? Since they've already given you permission, then you would say, look, from my experience, because I'm the expert, right?
Right.
You're the expert. From my experience, 5 or 6 sessions would work really well. Here's my package for 6 sessions.
Right.
Yep.
Okay. Yeah, because I
Right?
do own it. Like when I'm on the call with my client, I really own it. I just sold a $21,000 year-long package, like as if it cost 5 cents. I owned
Exactly.
it.
Yep.
She didn't know how much it was going to cost in the coming in because she's my first one-year client, so I'm making this up as I go.
Yeah.
I mean, so I know how to.
Most
that
people
is
do.
effortless. It's me. I mean, that's, you know.
And then if
Yeah.
they can't do the 6, if they say, you know what, that's beyond what I can afford right now, then great. What about a 4?
Right. And
Then
that
you have that as
and that goes to your options. So Anne, you're going to have those other options in mind, but you don't offer them all at one time.
But you don't offer it till.
You offer the one thing. Yeah.
And another way to do it is say, my experience and testimonial from my clients have shown me that additional sessions compound the benefits that you receive from the first session. I've attached a link for my 6th session at a discounted price. to
Nope.
support you in
No,
your
not a
journey.
Nope.
discounted price. It's a
Nope.
buy now price.
Don't offer the discount.
Nope.
Don't offer the discount. Don't offer the downsell. Don't offer any of that unless they don't buy the first time.
Correct.
Because otherwise you're leaving money on the table.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying.
Forget everything I did.
And I think to the spare room.
Recommendation based on my experience.
Jeff has something here.
One thing that dentists run into is they'll have a guy that comes into the office, he hasn't been to a dentist since he was 10. And he's got a mouthful of just disaster, and the dentist figures out that it's gonna be $30,000 to fix everything. But he knows that if he says to him, oh, this is $30,000, let's get
You've lost
started,
him.
the guy's gonna say, let me think about it, and he'll never see it again. So what we've told people, dentists to do is to say, okay, talk about the first phase. Let's get the things that are most critical done. And so you're not scaring the hell out of them with $20,000. Even though you had one client who said, oh, no problem. There's a lot of people who would say, big problem.
Yeah.
Or wouldn't have the capacity. And so break it into phases where if you get them that far and they're really happy, in a dental way, deal with the two front teeth.
Right.
Or the pain or whatever, and then they're going to be really excited to get all of the other things in phase.
And that's the tripwire.
Yes.
That's the new lead to a small thing, right?
It's also
That's
a
the
really
tripwire.
ethical way of saying what they can't hear in that first blush.
Right.
But
Yeah.
you're not, your goal isn't to sell the year-long package right away to
Right.
anybody. That's an after.
Oh, yeah.
She had a
Part
session
of
with me,
it.
she's like, oh
Part
my
of it
gosh,
is all.
I so much
Yeah.
more.
If she picked in, she's like, okay, then great, then you made that happen. But the majority of the people that you're gonna work with, you're probably gonna sell just the, maybe 4 to 6 sessions,
Right.
start out.
Right.
And if they can't do that, then you take them to the phase 1.
Yeah.
And then you go, okay, well, let's start with like 1 or 2 sessions, whatever that is for you,
Yeah.
what you think would be best.
I was
And
just
then
gonna,
from there.
I was gonna add on to what Jennifer said about having them actually write down. If you think about it, that's what happens. All these internet marketers that say, sign up for a conference call, and then they ask you the questions. And I'm always thinking, well, this guy's a top guru, it's gonna cost me 10 grand, I can't afford 10 grand, blah, blah, blah. And then you start filling out your form, and they, what are your greatest challenges, what is it you want, blah, 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 and you're thinking, more and more, it makes you realize, like, well, I do need this, I do want this, I will pay something, not 10 grand, something for that, So I thought when she said that, that does seem like a really good follow-up. I think that would work in our audience too, to have people
Right.
do that, to articulate, when it's something that's not about making money, when it's sort of an amorphous, how to better your life kind of a thing.
Have a Facebook page for all the free stuff, or campaign.
Have a bunch of lead magnets for all the free stuff, yeah.
Oh, I could definitely.
So I have a question, kind of a housekeeping question about how we wrap this up today when we
Yep.
get to that point. Are you gonna have time with the whole group to ask for suggestions about our experience here as a group sharing? Or do you want us to do that on the video? I know there's gonna be like an opportunity to video, you mentioned like a testimonial.
Oh,
What
that, yeah.
about- What about our sharing our experience and how we think it could be even better? Or?
Yeah, absolutely.
I don't know if you have time scheduled for that, or how you want to just convey that in the email after the fact, or what?
I'm completely open to what you guys are. I mean, I don't want you guys to feel, I definitely want open, honest feedback. I know that's what we want as a team. If you feel comfortable giving that open, honest in a group format, by all means. We can also follow up with an email as well if you'd rather
And
be a
one
little
other
more.
thing to build on that, this has been so helpful this morning, this experience, and it could include the whole group, but God, I mean, I'm just throwing this out there, like, is there any forum where we could have a formula done, whatever you call what we're doing right now, you know, mastermind or Facebook group, or session to kind of talk about our experiences and
Yeah.
keep building the relationship
Yeah.
with the people here that we've been sharing on.
He is! And funny you should ask. I've actually been working on how we can continue
Yeah.
helping you
It'd
guys.
be nice to not
So,
just lose touch. I mean, you know, we can give business cards and stuff like that, but usually after a week or two. you
yeah, it
forget.
falls off, yeah, unless you have a plan and a structure. So, yeah. We are actually, I've been working on that, you know, the last couple of days to make sure, like, how else can we help you guys? But it's great when you get, especially small groups like this, and you build those relationships and, like, how can we continue helping each other grow?
We just gave a 15-person workshop, and we've been doing it for about 2 years. And when in advance of it, we start a Facebook group and pile everybody in, they get to know each other before the workshop and everything, and then they get together like this for the 3
See, I'd love to learn what you do and how you do that and all
What's
that. I would love to learn that from you on the process that you
Yeah,
go through with that.
It's been
and have-
great, and we
time
have a
to do it.
Facebook group, and you know, a year and a half, 2 years later, they still participate, and they're in other groups of ours as well, but they still, it's interesting for me to watch the workshop people, you know, who go to different location photography workshops. They'll post in our main, you know, alum group, the big group, and then I see different things that they'll post just to their workshop people that they just stay on with. And we do the same thing with our courses, but it's interesting. I think, how many groups do these people in our audience want to be in? But they do, and I can see their notifications come, that this is what they're sharing with 700 people, this is what they're sharing with just the people they took our manual with, and this is what they're sharing with the people they went to the Santa Fe workshop in.
Are all of your groups like free groups that they're getting more information from you?
Well, no, they were built around, I mean, it's part of your paid. You
Okay.
pay $2,000 to go to the workshop, and then you're in this
Got it.
group. But
I'm just curious.
the one which is gonna come up, if we're gonna talk about community today, is that on the list of how to create communities? Remember,
We will, but you don't get to create one for a while.
I have one, I wanna monetize. That's a mistake I made, is that we took all our, Going Manual's our core course. We put all our alums into a Going Manual Facebook group. It is the most thriving heart and soul of our business, and we didn't monetize it stupidly. So this is what I want to, I'd love some talk at some point with other people about how I can
Monetize that?
grandfather them in and
Yep.
start making
Yeah.
it a paid group, or give them a year to transition to paid. I don't know what I'm thinking, but I want it to be part of my paid advanced membership for sure, because it is the most vibrant, thriving.
We'll talk about some best practices with communities and then also around pricing and stuff like that. We are just a couple minutes before 8:30. I want to go ahead and break and let you guys have a chance to.
And thank everybody for your insight and your
Yeah,
input. I
really
appreciate it so
appreciate it.
much.
Thank you.
Yes, it's very helpful.
Awesome. Thanks for coming in early. I know. I'm going to go. We'll jump over here in a sec. So I know one of the things that we heard back is that you guys, we've given you a lot of little like pieces and campaigns and pages and code and stuff like that, but you're not sure entirely how all of the things all sort of connect together and what it looks like in the big picture. So I went back through and I worked on kind of an overview of a roadmap. of what we've got. And so we're actually going to walk through that together here. And I'm going to do it kind of organically so that you guys can still hopefully see it on the screen. And then we'll make sure that you guys get copies of this as well so that you can print them out and look at them in detail. But let's jump right in because this I think is going to help. This one is made up new. I built this out last night based on the concepts and things that we have talked about so that it made complete sense to what we've done here. So I'm going to kind of walk through here, and I actually have a couple of these, but I want to start with the idea of the free access to the site. Now, the free access in your site can come from a free preview class. It can come from your lead magnet piece. It can come from a free tutorial thing that you're giving out. And do you guys do any free access stuff? No, not really. Okay. Having a membership site, it makes free access lead magnets really, really easy because you can pull out one lesson or one topic or like one piece of something that you're offering from a full course and turn that into your free thing. Because literally all you have to do is give them one tag and drop it into your free access campaign and you're ready to go, tech-wise, right? Okay, so what I looked at here was, let's start, and I kept this really generic so that it still fits your guys' needs, so ask questions as we go. So we start from a free access piece, and with that we know that we want to tag them, deliver our free thing, and send our welcome message with login access and our login reminders. This part all making sense to everybody so far? Okay. And we know that we want to drip on them with a nurturing and then a sales message that like leads to our actual paid thing. Because ultimately, we're trying to get to the paid thing. Yes, Bill?
Once you switch box 2 and 3, does something need access to
These two?
your free thing? Like the delivery free thing should be in yours?
Oh, yeah. That's a great point. I actually, like in the delivery in my mind was tagging them to give them the access and stuff, and then we send them the welcome message and log in. But yes, all those, this is actually like, while these are separate things, they all, like, they just need to happen to trigger all these things all at once, and then the nurture will obviously take time. All right, so ultimately we're trying to get them to their purchase offer. If they don't purchase, we're going to redrop them into some other list for marketing, future marketing, retargeting with ads, like whatever your marketing plan may be. But they are contacts that you have now on your list, so that's added to your list for future marketing. Does that make sense so far? Good, good. Okay, so once we get a purchase, we know that we want to make sure we record that they purchased. We know who the purchase people are. We want to deliver our purchase, which includes access tags and all of our stuff that we're doing in there, welcome emails and stuff. And then we obviously want to nurture them. And in the nurture, I also mean that that's part of our onboarding. That's our making sure that they're engaged. That's our continuing to nurture them maybe towards your next upsell. Hold on a sec here. All right. So that was a refresher of the one we already went through. So now it's the same one, yeah. Which actually, I was like, wait a minute, I added more stuff onto this. Okay, so that's fine. We actually just went through that. That's the same one that we looked through before in how we're drawing a map, right? Let me find the appropriate one here. Here we go. Aha! Okay. Okay. So we have, actually, let's start down here since we did, we just talked about the free offer, the free piece. So this is kind of how it fits a little bit more into the whole scheme of your, like, all of your business operations, right? You're gonna have some sort of promotion, advertising, networking, anything that you're doing. What are you guys doing for advertising or planning on doing? I know, Bill, you do events a lot, and then a lot of local people, local networking. Not as much? Didn't you used to do events, or am I imagining that?
I did one conference.
Okay. Aaron, what do you guys do?
We do a lot of events, so we go and speak out at conferences,
Great.
and then we do some Facebook advertising.
Good. And I know you're doing some live webinars and then some advertising.
We do live webinars, Facebook, we should be doing Facebook
Yep.
advertising, and we should be doing Instagram, but we aren't even there yet, but Facebook is
Great.
the most obvious place.
Yeah.
for us.
Jeff?
Facebook, Instagram, events, and webinars.
Great.
So far, we're on Instagram. We're,
Big on
Instagram.
Some on Facebook, focusing on Instagram.
Yeah.
and then starting to come out in our community. Which is we're
Great.
getting our business cards and our.
Yep,
we want
local.
Somewhere where they can go, because if we want to go get speaking engagements, we want them to be able to see what we're about. So we have lots of videos going on our websites for them to get a feel for us.
Definitely developing
Yep.
local brand.
So just
Exactly.
locally.
Yeah. Perfect. Nick?
Facebook ads on their own, but also then social media driving.
Yep.
As the ad part of the wheel of is the blog.
Yep.
Drive everything to the blog and then sell the blog.
Great. Content marketing. Awesome. Perfect. Okay, so ultimately let's talk about like the advertising content marketing part. Ultimately what we need to do is get those people in and get their information in some way, whether that's just email address, Facebook Messenger, text message, whatever form of communication that you're grabbing, right? So that usually involves some sort of a lead magnet or your opt-in, right? And I know we've talked about that. That can be repurposing a blog post into an infographic. That can be free mini video. That can be the free course access that we talked about. That's what your lead magnet opt-in could be here. So there's plenty of different ways that you can, basically what you're doing is attracting attention, right? So somebody comes and they give you their information, then you take them to a thank you page of some sort, which is delivering what they asked for, telling them what to expect next, giving them the next offer. There's all sorts of different ways of kind of positioning that, but there's always like they opt in of some form and then you do some form of a thank you, right? Does that make sense?
Yeah. Do you have any resources that you would recommend for different scenarios of this type of marketing? Like go-to companies that you, or do you think of all this yourself, or where do you go to get your ideas of the ways to present?
The different types of marketing?
Yeah, like different. Did you just learn it over the years and kind of have a good feel for it?
I would say probably two of the best references would probably be Digital Marketer and ClickFunnels. Just for reference. Or go look at things that you like
Yeah.
and just opt in and screenshot every single step of the process.
That's what I've been doing, try to absorb it.
Because that's completely free. Yeah.
Some of our best ideas have come by signing up for competition,
Yep.
affiliate, or even things in similar spaces, and then just watch what they do.
Yep.
Yeah.
We're following a guy that's leading people towards filling up psychologist practices.
Yeah.
This guy is genius in what he's doing. We've learned a lot from it.
And you take every email that they send and you can even use those emails because if they're using them and they're doing really, really good, chances are they're converting. So, and I'm not saying please do not copy their email, but copy the format. Look at what they're doing, you know. Look at the timing, when they're sending things. Look at how they're positioning. Is it feature, benefit, call to action? Like you can copy the whole format of all those things. And same thing like if they have a sales video, or they have any kind of a video. Capture, record the video, or download it if they don't have it locked down. And then send it, you know, here's a good tip. You can actually take like your phone recorder, right? Play the video, take your phone recorder, and record the audio of what's happening. Then take that audio file and send it to Temi or Rev.com. Get the transcription, and then you have like a video sales letter for probably like $5 or something that you can then go through and change out the appropriate things to your stuff.
What are the sites?
Rev.com is one of them, and then REV.
There's even an app for it.
Yeah, oh yeah. And I think it's Temi, Temi, or is that what it is? Temi? I'm sure there's other ones. Those are the two that I've used. So yeah, and in the ClickFunnels world, they call that funnel hacking, but but for everybody, but for Jeff, we'll just call it copying the competition.
By Jeff Walker. Oh, this Jeff.
For this Jeff. All right, so we're going to get their information. We're going to thank them. And on the thank you, either on the thank you or shortly thereafter, the whole point of getting them on your list is so that you can then make an offer, right? So, bless you. For this purpose, we're going to go through the Tripwire offer. So, let's just say we're offering them, like for the dental, okay, we're going to fix your 2 front teeth, or, you know, whatever that is. Exactly. I almost did that. For Anne, it could be the basic, or it could be, you know, one of the tutorials, depending on how you end up there. Bill, I know you're redoing your stuff. You've been quite quiet. Do you have an idea what your Tripwire would be?
No. Some kind of bunch of free stuff, and watch it, and get sucked into. Oh, and you know what? I'm looking really to start a relationship with them. So it could be as simple as give us an opportunity to evaluate your online presence, and we'll show you opportunities to generate more leads.
Perfect. Personal evaluation is a great Tripwire. Yeah.
Can you define in your mind what those terms are? Because I think of lead magnet as something maybe you give free to get their contact info, and Tripwire is something you sell at a ridiculously low price to have them get skin in the game, to collect their credit card info and all that stuff, and then get them into a sales funnel. So
Totally agree.
So what is, can you define?
You just did.
Okay. Something free, so I just didn't know if I had it all.
The free is the lead magnet that we talked about over here. Yes. The Tripwire, and again, you don't have to do a Tripwire offer. You can go direct into a straight offer as well. But I'm just kind of like showing what the possible steps are here. But yeah, the Tripwire is something ridiculously cheap, yes. Digital marketer, we'll talk about they like 7s for some reason, right? But they'll do like a 7 or a 17 or a 27 or something dollar Tripwire, right? Base your Tripwire pricing, if you're going to do one, base your Tripwire pricing obviously off of like a percentage of your actual offer price. So if your actual offer price is a $2,000 course, then your Tripwire offer is probably going to be closer to like $100 or $200 or something like that. If your actual offer is a $47 a month membership that you're trying to promote, your Tripwire should be like a $7 Tripwire. Like they need to be kind of in relation to each other. Yes?
So I maybe didn't think of this, but the $7, because I learned this through the internet marketing thing,
Right,
It doesn't feel real.
right.
You know, and so we struggle with this again, like, are we gonna go all into the internet marketing model, or are we gonna try to make it feel more real, to our audience who would be more used to different kind of pricing? And then I struggle because I think, well, I'm so sensitive to it, because I'm in this internet marketing world where I'm flashed with this stuff all
Yeah.
day. You know, does the average housewife with a DSLR camera who wants to learn to take pictures of her kid, when she sees $7, is she thinking, oh, this is gonna be a sleazy sales funnel? You know, probably not, but
Yeah.
that $7 alert her, because it just doesn't feel like a real price, you know?
Well, so I actually pulled up, because I know we talked yesterday about pricing, and you guys wanted to talk a little bit about best practices. So I did a little bit of research last night, and so I pulled up some articles. And we can actually go through those now if we want. There's a couple things to think about in terms of pricing. One is, who exactly is your avatar? And I know we've all gone through those avatar exercises and things like that, and I think Carrie Lynn's even gonna take us through kind of one that actually works. But when you're thinking about your avatar, the tripwire price needs to be, it needs to be something that's like, well, that's a no-brainer. Like, I don't care. I don't care about $7. I don't care about $50. You know, I mean, and I'm not saying that like we don't have value on it, but if you're aiming towards a customer that's going to be paying higher amount of money, like for that person to spend $300 is nothing. You know, for your avatar to spend $5, that's nothing, right? So that's what you're trying to go for. The other thing is in the psychology of numbers. Has anybody ever kind of played with the psychology of numbers or heard anything around that?
I've never fascinated.
Great, yeah. So when you're looking at the pricing, and this is where the digital marketer thing kind of comes from, but everybody's using it. There's the what do they call it? It's like I just lost the term. Charm pricing. Has anybody heard charm pricing? So the idea of that is that if you reduce the number on the left by 1, it's going to make people psychologically like think it's less, right? I mean, like if we have all seen it, and we're all so familiar with it. But still, if you're sitting looking at something on the store and like this thing costs $20, like this, I don't know, whatever, this shirt costs $20, and this one costs $19.97.
You're gonna buy the $19.97.
You totally are. Because even though we know it's still $20, in our brains, that number on the left is reduced to a 1 instead of a 2, and it's automatically like
It's perceived markdown value.
it absolutely is.
So how does that work if it's you just offering one product on your tripwire? How do you apply that?
It makes it easier for them to make the yes decision.
Don't make it $100, make it $99,
Exactly.
Okay.
right? Or instead of making it a $10 value, it's $9.97 or $9.99.
I think Ann hit on something really important. We think about this all the time.
We
about
do.
Pricing and all of this stuff. Most people don't.
Right.
The reason that 1999 to 97 works is because it works. And if everybody looked at it the way we do, it probably would stop. Well, I don't know if it would stop working, but,
Mm-hmm.
It's
but
throughout
we think
retail.
about it a lot.
It is. It's throughout. I mean,
Right,
it's
it's throughout retail. We've
every
our
retailer.
brain has already been
But most people want
challenged to see it as it's a retail value. So when they're working with people like us, they want the retail price.
Well, that was a little bit of my point, though, is that why $7 doesn't feel like a real price. Our audience would be used to going into a store and seeing, you know, a cheap pair of earrings for $6.99,
Mhm.
$7.
Mhm.
So like the $7.
That's just his thing.
Well,
That works.
$6.99 then would be the price to
Yeah, but
equate
that
it.
feels weird.
It might feel weird to you,
Right.
We actually
but-
got more sales with 1997 than we did with 7.
Yeah.
which is another psychology thing because oops, that's not the one I want. there's also a perceived value if you go too low on your tripwire, that it's not something worth paying any attention to. Like, it's just going to be a cheap throwaway thing. And some of those things you aren't going to find until you actually just do it and test it, you know?
So I toy with just making it $10, because $10 feels probably really expensive.
And okay, so I read through this article and I'll actually just kind of skim through.
This is the guy I read, it's fast.
Okay, great. Also, you can go towards the round number thing. Like I do round numbers a lot in my stuff because we sell a lot of higher end packages, and I'm like, I'm not gonna bullshit you and say like, oh, it's $19.97. Like, no, it's $2,000. Like, that's just what it is, you know. But but I think that a lot of the drop down pieces are like the reducing that number works better for smaller, for smaller price tags, right? So he does talk in here also about like how round numbers are can be, they're easier for the brain to imagine as well, you know, or so you could just do a flat $6 or something. Another thing, and I can share this article with you guys if you want, just so you can reference the whole thing. Yeah, right around roundness. The other thing that I found really interesting in here, which I won't even pull up, but he talked also, which totally makes sense, about the number that has the fewer syllables. Because it's easier for the brain when you're thinking it in your head. It's easier for the brain to process because it's less work. And it makes it easier for them to say, oh yeah, that makes sense.
So 67 instead of 6, or are you saying less syllables per word spoken?
Per spoken word for the whole price. So it would be like $67.90, $67.94, $67.97.
So simpler is better.
Mm-hmm.
It's $1,000 versus $1,997.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. But really, when it comes down to it, pick a number and stick it out there. Just sell it.
Don't analyze it too much.
And always,
If you read the article, there's psychology of all these different things, some of which are gonna contradict the others.
Yep.
So you just have to, so this is my quagmire with everything.
Don't-
Diving in too deep just gets you stuck.
yep, it does.
Throw a dart.
Pick one, do it.
Do it feels right. I do mine by the numerology, what it adds up to, the vibration of it is more important to me than the psychology, but I think the psychology part comes through intuitively. So just tune in, what price does it feel like, and go with that.
Yep. Yeah, and then you know, with all of these things, like Jeff just said, you're gonna test, right? So you're gonna put them in, you're gonna test, and you're gonna see. Like if you're not, if you have a funnel up and running and you have like at least 100 people through it, and you're not converting to your core offer at least 20%, you need to tweak something.
So one of my issues is with the consistency of pricing across all of our products. Is it
Doesn't matter.
because some of them are like
Nope.
$158, some are $297, some are, you know, with between 9s, 7s, and 8s, we can find a number, so just throw them up.
Nope. Just
Okay.
pick something and go. That's not something that needs to hang you up. All right, so back to our map here. So we have our tripwire, and again, super generic, but if they take the tripwire offer, we want to take them in some way. So there's some form of thank you. They may be an immediate upsell to the actual offer that may wait and go into the nurture, which apparently what's that?
It's not the one down below, or the main offer to the right.
Oh yeah, actually that would, yes. If they don't take the main purchase offer, then we definitely need to offer here. But so this is the yes path. If they take the tripwire, we could offer them immediately another offer, or if we don't want to go full Russell Brunson style, we can drop them right into a nurture and just make sure we're delivering exactly what it is that they gave, right? If they don't take the tripwire, we want to make sure that we're nurturing towards the tripwire, and then if they still don't take it, we're going to nurture towards the main offer. And then we get into our main offer. Same thing. We want to make sure we're delivering. We can work right into an upsell. We can wait to work right into an upsell. But either way, we eventually, like if they take it, we want to deliver the thing and then start working towards a nurture, towards an upsell. That process may take 6 months or a year for you guys. So don't think that it's like you have to go immediately right into it. But that's overall the process of what happens, as you're trying to move them up your ladder of value. If they don't take the main purchase offer, you want to continue nurturing to them until they do. And if they don't, you could go up here to the upsell offer. Or if they haven't taken, which I don't even have an arrow in here for it, but if they haven't taken if they get to the main purchase offer and they haven't had the tripwire, you can nurture them back towards that. Is this starting to make sense, the pattern in this?
Are you going to give us copies of this?
Yeah.
You already answered it.
I will. I'll make sure you guys have copies of it. So same thing, all the way through to our upsell, we want to make sure we're giving them the thing that they purchased, and we're continuing to nurture them. Because even if you don't have another thing after that, you still want to take care of those people. And that nurture goes back to your onboarding process, to helping them through, like walking them through the steps of your membership site. Like that's nurture inside of, I put on here Infusionsoft and website for the delivery of all of these things, because your nurture is not just in emails. It's also the path that you're taking them through in your membership site. Does that make sense? All right, so let's look at, let me go down here. Oh no, it was up. Let's look at the same thing for advertising straight to a live event. This can be a webinar, this can be a conference, this can be even a consult, like any kind of a live event or like a webinar replay type thing that we're doing. So the process is going to be very similar. We're advertising towards this. We want to get them registered for that event. They register. We want to make sure that they get reminders. They show up in some form. If they don't register, we're going to continue advertising to them, right? If once we have the live event and we have registered people, we're going to be offering them our sales offer, right? So if they show up, we're going to be giving them our sales offer, most likely on the event. That may not happen on the event. It could also happen afterwards, depending on your type of event that you're doing. Like for you, Julie. So it would be just slightly afterwards. If they don't show up, especially with a webinar kind of format, we want to replay, like we want to give them, typically we want to give them like a replay of the webinar and then some sort of a nurture option, right, to get them to the actual sales offer again. So then we're going into our purchase, same thing here. We want to deliver the thing that they bought, make sure that they have a welcome onboarding, make sure that they're nurtured. This is all making sense? And we have upsell opportunities here. If they buy the upsell, we want to deliver what they got, continue nurturing them. If they don't buy, we want to nurture them towards that offer again, or it could go into a downsell, right? So I want to back up here really quick and show you guys. I know you can't actually read this, but if you can see the colors. Let's see if I can. Nope, that's probably about it. These are two completely different approaches, but the path that we end up going through in terms of like the sales and delivery is super similar because they're coming from different places, but we're still taking them through deliver, nurture, upsell, deliver, nurture, upsell. Basically, that works for everybody, right? Okay, does this make sense? Okay, now what we're going to do is take this exact same map and we are going to, I've gone through here and I've highlighted So like on this top one here, here's our promotion and advertising, right? And then we go into our live webinar reminders, attend our live webinar, this kind of stuff. This is highlighted back here in yellow because this is the bonus campaign that you guys just got this morning.
What's it called?
Webinar.
Webinar something.
That's the webinar.
Yeah.
Yep. Then over here, webinar registration. Over here, this starts to get a little convoluted, but we do have, so this orange box that comes back behind here, the membership access, handles from the purchase and behind the scenes actions through the welcome onboarding stuff, right? The membership management campaign handles part of your delivery because we're actually triggering all the actions of the things that gets them access to stuff, right? The delivery and welcome campaign handles the front side of what's happening with the delivery here through your welcome and our onboarding and our nurturing. Our orientation and onboarding sequence gives them that first time contact onboarding for what's happening here. And we go over in here, when you copy the information on the membership delivery and welcome, then that works for your upsell process. And then same thing here is your account management, drops them into the nurture. And then I did the same thing down here. So you can start to see how, I really wanted you guys to be able to see how all of the campaigns and the pieces that we gave you are actually like where they're fitting on the map.
That's a great visualization. That's so helpful.
Does that help to make sense for how these pieces all fit together? Kimberly, does that help? We're good? All right, good. I will make sure that you guys definitely get copies of all of these things. And this, do you guys want me to go all the way through this or just give it to you guys? Because basically it's just these campaigns are set up so you can continue copying and repeating as needed. You can plug them in so now you have all the tech tools, right, to go through. And so what we're left with, the pieces that are not connected right now are your promoting and advertising and customer support. So we're going to talk a little bit later today about the system that you need to have in place to manage once people start coming through your site. Because so many people will do that, like, oh, I'm going to do a membership site. And then all of a sudden you have all these people going, how do I log in? I lost my password. My credit card isn't processing. Like it's people going through things and they're going to have issues. I'm sure, Erin, you guys probably experienced that, right? There has to be some sort of a system, or they will eat you alive. Like they really will. So you have to have a system to know that how you're going to handle all that stuff. And then on the front end of it is your marketing. We talked about some of that, and we'll give you guys some ideas. I know Carrie Lynn's going to be talking a lot about sales as well. And then in between here, the other piece that's missing, of course, for you guys is the design of your sites, if it's not all fully designed, and the content. But but that's why you guys are actually even doing membership sites, is you have your content. Like you know what it is that you want to teach and share with people. So you have the content, you know how to actually hook up now the structure, the code pieces that you need to make all the automation pieces happen. You have all the campaigns to make all that stuff happen. So you guys, you're ready. Once you fill that in with your content, like you guys are ready. You're ready to you're ready to go. Is that exciting? Kimberly's like, yeah, I just have all the content. Absolutely.
Put all that content in something that creates the readiness for all of this to happen.
Mm-hmm.
So that's like, this is all great, but until I get all that
Exactly.
done.
And until you get all this done, because remember what Micah said, like if you're just starting, put up a sales page. I know, James, that's what you're talking